It seems like the biking season doesn't want to end, as a company named HITWAY reached out to me and asked me to check out their offerings and pick a bike that I'd like to test. I chose the smallest and cheapest bike, and why will be revealed in this video. The thing is, it's been a really long time since a true city bike has come my way. I've tested all sorts of bikes recently, but they were usually relatively large bikes with 26, 27.5-inch wheels. However, the HITWAY BK2 is not one of those. Yes, this is an absolute city bike. Before I dive in and talk about its specifications and my experiences with it, we'll start as usual with the unboxing. So the unboxing wasn't too complicated, nor was the assembly, as the bike arrives almost fully assembled. What we need to attach are the handlebars rod, the seat post with the seat, and for example, pedals and reflectors, which are with the unboxing. Everything else is already attached. Sorry, one thing isn't. The rear light and this reflector, which we still need to install. But apart from that, everything really is put together. So our only task is to adjust the brakes, and if the brakes work, I'll change them. Then we're basically good to go. I must highlight regarding the assembly and packaging that I have never seen a bike so beautifully and well packaged in my life. And the parts were very carefully packed. The pedals, everything. So this definitely deserves a red mark in a good way, because during transportation these bikes are certain to remain undamaged. No damage. But what's much more important is how well equipped it is. You can already see on the bike itself that we get quite a lot as default. For example, we get a front and rear mudguards and an incredibly strong rear rack. Of course, with the mistake, we have front lights, which are connected to the electrical system and can be turned on by pressing a plus button. And there's a rear light included too. But this one uses batteries. It's not connected to the electrical system, so naturally it has no turn signals and it operates on batteries. So in other words, it means you have to turn it on and off manually. This could be seen as a downside, but honestly, we know well that with these cheap Chinese bikes, it's very positive that it even has a rear light, because this light, they usually don't put one on, although it's probably not a very large Chinese light. So this bike has a rear light, a front light, but what it doesn't have, and I'll get into the specifications a bit here, is a gear shifter. This bike doesn't have gears, and based on my testing, it's actually unnecessary. As you can see, this is a small size city bike with 16-inch wheels. The top speed, while the assist is active, is 25 kilometers per hour, which is the value that complies with EU standards. The assist will not work any faster. Due to EU standards, it also doesn't have a throttle, and they don't provide one either, which means this bike works solely with pedal assist. While we're on the topic of pedal assist, it's important to mention that since this isn't an expensive bike, it has a pedal sensor instead of a torque sensor. This means that in an analog fashion, when you start pedaling, the rear motor kicks in, and when you stop pedaling, it stops. There are 5 power levels, but these 5 levels don't regulate the motor's power. Instead, they control at what speed in kilometers per hour the assist turns off. However, what's definitely positive and expected in a bike like this is that the brakes are connected to the electrical system, meaning when you pull the brake lever, the drive will definitely shut off and the motor will stop working even if you're pedaling. It's a safety feature to prevent you from accidentally running into a car or bus. It's good, it's here thankfully. What I should also mention is that we have disc brakes on both the front and rear, and of course these are mechanical disc brakes. Another important thing is that it has suspension both at the front and the rear, which is a very positive aspect. The front suspension is relatively simple. It doesn't have preload adjustment or lockout. But according to my experience, it's simple. It's very important because this is a small bike, a city runaround bike, so it doesn't have much weight either. The manufacturer says it has a magnesium alloy frame. The net weight of the entire bike is 22 kilos. In other words, it's not much. So it's a bike that you can fold up. Or even if you don't fold it, you can easily lift it and talk with it. The specs also include that the manufacturers, they say the range is between 36 and 72 kilometers. This seems strange and a bit large for an interval, and it most likely won't be achieved because it has a small battery, a 36 volt 7.6 amp battery, which by no means can be considered large. Let's be sure about that. What else do you need to know? Its maximum load capacity is 120 kg, and the maximum incline it can handle is 25 degrees. Well, that's roughly all the specifications. So go ahead. Come on. Let's dive into how it was to use. Well, first of all, I have to say, although this 25 km/h speed seems low, since this bike is equipped with 16-inch wheels, I think you'll easily go faster than 25 km/h, rather 20, not because it is dangerous, not because it's impossible, but because it's not comfortable. So basically, this is a bike designed for bike paths. Unlike with EU governments, thanks to conformity, Mesha is usable, and on bike paths, you don't have to strap anything mandatory on it, not even a helmet. So this is a regular bike, a bicycle, not an electric motor-assisted bike. So with this bike, you likely won't cover 20 kilometers. You can ride it comfortably and peacefully, and I think that's the main point. Since the tires are thin and not all-terrain, even if it runs out of battery, there's no problem, as it's easy to pedal even without assistance. During my tests, I didn't use any higher level than level 1. Obviously, I tested it because if it's there, you have to try it. But level 1 is enough for riding in the city between scooter riders and other cyclists. Just cruising around Tetebishe, level 1 was plenty. I simply didn't need more than that. However, even with level 1, the range won't be as much as they promise, at least based on my measurements and experience with my body weight around 95 to 100 kilograms. In non-strenuous mode, I wouldn't promise more than 20 to 25 kilometers now. But that's no surprise because, as I said, the battery is relatively small. Is this a problem or not? I don't think so, because this isn't a touring bike. It's not for circling Lake Balaton, but really for putting it in a car's trunk, parking at Pluser, taking out the bike and comfortably riding the 5 to 10 kilometers to your workplace. After that, you can easily carry it up to your apartment, office or car. Well, if you can do that, of course, you can remove the battery and take it separately, since the battery is removable. Like in all these bikes. It has a very small compact battery. You can take it up to the office and charge it there. So when I chose this bike, I didn't know how good it would be or how well it could be used. I primarily chose it for its looks because, as you can see, then this bike looks insanely good, at least in my opinion. It's not the usual boring foldable Chinese bike design that you often see. These green inserts, the green stickers, the green labels look really great. I really like the rear swing arm, which is held in place by this shock absorber. Here is its pivot point, by the way. I really like the shape of the frame. It's designed this boomerang shape. There's just one thing I don't understand why. What I miss a bit, and I think it's such a small thing, that shouldn't have been left out. There should have been a handle here, because that's about where the bike's center of gravity is. And when you lift it, it would be good to grab the bike here and lift it, especially when it's folded. Open like this, you can still grab it from below and lift it, but when folded, it's a bit awkward. If there were a handle here, it would be perfect. You could lift it, put it in the car, take it out of the car, take it on the tram, take it on the metro or the train. That would be awesome. So I think this is a bit of a missed opportunity. Such a handle should have been on a bike meant to be carried around. Of course, you can live without it, you can cycle without it. Here it's very comfortable. The seat itself is relatively comfortable, especially with a Chinese Mercedes, because sometimes it feels like one. I get terribly bad seats sometimes, but this one is not bad at all. It feels like a gel soft seat. There's also a very good handlebar at the back where you can grab it. With this, you can lift the bike if you want. What is a huge positive and something I really liked, I only noticed this when it arrived, is that there's a rubber block down here. This rubber block is great because it's often forgotten on these bikes. When it's open, it obviously stands on two wheels, no question. But when you fold the bike, if there's no support down below, then it rests on the chain ring, which is incredibly stupid. Some bikes have a metal loop down here to support the bike, but this one has a rubber block, which is incredibly good. It doesn't slip, just soft enough so the bike doesn't fall over. And it also rests on this in the car's trunk. When I put it in there, it sits on this. I also really like this very strong luggage rack. I can imagine attaching a basket to it, and I could even go shopping with it. So the exterior is great in my opinion, at least as much as you can expect from a cheap Chinese electric bike. Really good. I like it, it's eye-catching, and it absolutely doesn't look generic. It looks very good down here that we have a cable channel. The cables are routed neatly. Nothing is hanging all over the place. It's great that this cable harness is bundled really well. So the whole bike, esse paketa szegényski szállta. At a glance, éve a szegedissé szállta, de este looks like a really quality piece. But of course the question is also how it is to ride. Well, as I said, you won't be speeding with it. I didn't speed with it either because there's nowhere to speed with it. I just cruised along the bike path. I can ride it for ages because it's insanely comfortable. The shock absorber smooth out the road bumps, so if you have to go on a bit lower quality road, it won't beat you up. I liked it a lot. It's easy to pedal. As I said, the bike is light. It doesn't have off-road tires. So even without pedal assist, you can easily ride it. So for city biking, I don't think you need a better one than this nowadays. If it were up to me, I'd maybe add a torque sensor, but obviously that would be another price category. So we have to be satisfied with this for now. Overall, I can say that the HITWAY bike has absolutely convinced me. It's nice, it's good, and it's comfortable. It was very enjoyable riding it. I cycled for nearly a whole day around the city. It convinced me. If it convinced you too, then on YouTube you'll find the video with the link in the usual place where you can buy it. I'll try to get a discount code for you to make it cheaper. If I can, I'll put that there too. I'll provide the manufacturer's website. You can purchase it from there. And you'll naturally get a warranty, plus they ship from a European warehouse, so it will reach you quickly. It got to me quickly too. Well, that's about it. And the biking season isn't over yet. As next week, no, but in 2 weeks I will come with another bike test. Until then, take care, look after yourselves, and enjoy the Indian summer while it lasts. Bye.